Now there's something I've noticed over the years living in Thailand. A lot of foreign men arrive here thinking they're just coming for a holiday, a lifestyle change, or maybe an adventure, and then suddenly, within weeks or months, they become emotionally attached to a woman faster than they ever have back home. Sometimes deeply attached, and I'm not just talking about older divorced men either. I've seen it happen to guys in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, all the way up to retirement age. Men who were emotionally cold back home suddenly become emotional. Men who struggled dating suddenly become obsessive. And men who felt invisible suddenly feel alive again. And because of that, Thailand becomes more than a country. It becomes emotional oxygen. Now, the easy explanation people give is, oh, it's because the women are beautiful. That's part of it. But honestly, that's the shallow explanation. The deeper reality is far more psychological than most people realize, because many men arriving in Thailand are not just sexually lonely, they're emotionally starved, and they often don't even realize it until someone gives them warmth, attention, softness, appreciation, or kindness. Today, I want to talk about why foreign men get emotionally attached so fast in Thailand, and why this happens to far more people than anyone wants to admit. So let's begin. So let's start with the uncomfortable part. A lot of men in the West are emotionally isolated. Now, before people get angry in the comments, I'm not saying women have it easy. I'm specifically talking about male emotional experience, because that's the subject of this video. Many men live incredibly repetitive lives. Wake up, go to work, come home, scroll their phone, repeat. No real community, no intimacy, no affection, no emotional support. A lot of men only receive positive emotional reinforcement in 3 situations: as children, at the start of relationships, or when they provide something useful, and that's it. And over time, many men become emotionally numb without realizing it. They stop expecting warmth from life. Then they come to Thailand, and suddenly people smile at them. Someone asks them if they've eaten. Someone messages them good morning. Someone seems genuinely happy to see them. Now, to a person who already feels emotionally healthy, this may seem normal, but to somebody who has spent years feeling invisible, that emotional contrast can hit incredibly hard. And this is where attachment starts, not because Thailand is magic, but because contrast is powerful. A starving man doesn't analyze the quality of the meal first. He just feels relief. Now, another massive factor is respect. A lot of foreign men feel respected in Thailand in ways they no longer feel back home. Now, this is where people start misunderstanding a lot of things. Respect does not mean superiority. It doesn't mean Thai women worship foreign men. That's absolute nonsense. But culturally, Thailand is often softer socially than many Western countries, especially in early interactions. Women may appear more patient, more polite, more feminine in communication, less confrontational initially, and more accommodating socially. For many Western men, this feels shocking because they've spent years experiencing relationships built around conflict, sarcasm, emotional exhaustion, or constant competition. So when they encounter softness, they mistake emotional relief for soulmate level compatibility. And that's important. Relief and compatibility are not the same thing. A relationship can feel emotionally soothing while still being fundamentally incompatible long term. But emotionally exhausted people rarely think clearly at first. They think emotionally, and humans are incredibly vulnerable when someone makes them feel safe. Now, this one is huge. You constantly hear foreign men say things like, "She actually listens to me. She cares. She's interested in my life. She appreciates me." Now, sometimes this is genuine. Sometimes it's cultural politeness. Sometimes it's emotional intelligence. And sometimes it's relationship strategy. Usually it is a mix. But the important part is how the man feels, because many men back home feel emotionally disposable. They feel ignored, criticized, rejected, invisible, unwanted. And then suddenly they meet someone who laughs at their jokes, asks them questions, shows affection, holds their arm, messages consistently, makes them feel important. And emotionally, that can become addictive very, very quickly, especially for somebody who hasn't experienced emotional warmth in years. This is why some men become deeply attached after only a few weeks. From the outside, it looks irrational, but psychologically, it makes perfect sense. Guys can bond very quickly when emotional deprivation meets emotional comfort. Thailand also allows many men to psychologically reinvent themselves. This is another massive factor nobody talks about enough. Back home, a man may feel trapped inside an identity. Maybe he was divorced, financially struggling, lonely, socially awkward, invisible to women, aging badly, depressed, or burnt out. Then he arrives in Thailand and suddenly he's not that guy anymore. He becomes interesting, exotic, desired, social, adventurous, and he's seen differently. Thailand becomes a reset button, and psychologically that feels intoxicating. Many men are not only falling for women, they're falling for the version of themselves they become in Thailand. That distinction matters because sometimes people confuse personal rebirth with romantic destiny. And this especially affects older men. And honestly, I do understand it. A lot of men reach middle age feeling emotionally defeated. Maybe their marriage collapsed, the kids grew up, career became meaningless, their health declined, dating became brutal, society stopped paying attention to them. Then Thailand offers something emotionally dangerous: possibility. Not guaranteed happiness, but possibility. And possibility is powerful when somebody feels emotionally dead inside. Suddenly they think, maybe life isn't over. Maybe I can still be loved. Maybe I can start over again. That emotional hope becomes deeply attached to the woman that they meet, sometimes unfairly, because now she represents youth, reinvention, escape, redemption, and emotional resurrection. That is a massive emotional burden to place onto another human being, and it often creates unstable attachment. Now, this next part is important. Some men become emotionally attached not because the relationship is extraordinary, but because kindness itself feels extraordinary to them. That's dark when you really think about it. A woman making food for them, checking if they got home safely, helping when they are sick, and showing them affection. These things should feel normal in a healthy relationship, but for emotionally deprived people, they can feel overwhelming, and sometimes men begin trauma bonding to basic care, meaning their emotional wounds become attached to the person soothing them. This creates dependency very quickly, especially when the man already feels isolated from home, family, or his old life. Thailand can unintentionally amplify emotional dependency because many foreigners are already psychologically uprooted when they arrive. Now this is where things become dangerous, because emotionally attached people stop evaluating situations objectively. They start protecting the fantasy. This is why some men ignore financial red flags, inconsistencies, manipulation, jealousy, dishonesty, and obvious incompatibilities, because emotionally, losing the relationship feels like losing hope itself. And this is why some men tolerate situations they would never ever tolerate back home. Not because they are stupid, but because emotional attachment changes perception, especially when loneliness is involved. Loneliness makes people negotiate with reality. Now, let's also be fair. There are genuine relationships in Thailand. Absolutely. Not every Thai woman is manipulating foreigners. Not every foreign man is delusional. Some couples genuinely build stable lives, families, deep emotional bonds, and healthy relationships. But successful relationships usually have something important: balance. The healthiest couples tend to move slowly, maintain independence, communicate honestly, set boundaries, avoid financial dependency early on, and learn each other's culture properly. And they also stay grounded emotionally, and that's the key: grounded. Because fantasy is unstable, reality lasts a whole lot longer. So, why do foreign men get emotionally attached so fast in Thailand? Because many arrive emotionally hungry, not weak, not pathetic, just human. Thailand often gives men emotional experiences they haven't felt in years: warmth, appreciation, attention, softness, hope, and reinvention. And when somebody has been emotionally surviving instead of emotionally living, that contrast can feel life-changing. But the important thing is this: never confuse emotional relief with long-term compatibility. The honeymoon phase is not the full relationship. And no matter how good something feels in the beginning, real compatibility only reveals itself over time, under stress, under pressure, through conflict, through boredom, through sacrifice, through reality. That's when relationships finally become real, not during the beautiful beginning. And honestly, that applies everywhere in the world, not just Thailand. So guys, be honest. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Why do you think so many foreign men become emotionally attached so quickly in Thailand? And have you personally experienced this yourself? Because I think this subject goes much deeper than most people realize. And guys, on this channel, we're going to go into so many different subjects that hopefully will be more of a help to Western men. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.